ahora, Le Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shouts to all the junkies out there. Okay, man. So I'm sure you guys already have heard the news of R-Truth and Carlito being released. They're not going to renew their contracts. So basically, they're out, right? I think Carlito has like a week left in his contract or something like that. All right. One person at a time, man. All right. I'll start with Carlito. Carlito came back, and he never really did much. They put him in with the Judgment Day, and look, to me personally, he never really fit in. He never really fit into that faction that's supposed to be a little bit more dark, more, just almost like a villain, like a pack of vampires or something, right? And I'm exaggerating on that, but to me, he never really fit that mold to be in Judgment Day. Now, he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad with Judgment Day, but they didn't really have him doing much. And I know, a lot of people like to constantly just point out and say like, oh, because they didn't use him right. And sure, you could say that they didn't use him right. Fine, but what would you want them to do, to have him do? He's, 46, 47 years old. I mean, is he really going to go have another title run? Is he going to go for a mid-card title? Yeah, that would probably have been pretty cool, right? But at the same time, they're trying to build up somebody like Dominic Mysterio. Have him get a mid-card title. So, you got Carlito just kind of hanging around to come out and interfere here and there. I mean, he recently won a title in Puerto Rico. I don't know everything to it, but for some promotion in Puerto Rico. So, maybe he's just going to head over there. I mean, it's not like they really had him doing much with WWE. And at 46, 47 years old, especially where this business is at today, TKO, I mean, come on, man. They're not going to be, I hope everyone's getting the hint that they're not going to be just hanging on to a lot of the old school guys, a lot of the OGs, man, if they're not doing anything. Especially with a lot of these new kids coming up, man. And some of these new kids, they're pretty badass, right? Doesn't mean that they can get over. So, but you gotta give them a shot. So if you're gonna have Carlito hanging around, it's like, oh, come on, man, give Carlito a shot. Carlito's had a big shot, man. He's already, and now it's time to bring some of these other new guys in. I mean, would it have been fine with me had they just kept him? Yeah, I would have, man. He wasn't bothering me. There is some WWE superstars where I'm like, man, get rid of this fool, But, yeah, I didn't have no problems with him sticking around. But if they're telling him, look, we're not going to renew your contract, man. So, good luck to you. And by the way, you won a title in Puerto Rico. Go handle that. Hey, man, look, big ups to Carlito. Let's see how they work that in the storyline with the Judgment Day faction now, right? Another one is R-Truth. Okay, this one is getting a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Okay, look. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. All right? I never liked R-Truth. I never did, man. I get it. He makes people laugh. It seemed like the kids loved him, and going back to the whole little Jimmy, right? I guess some of it was entertaining. I never really found it that funny, honestly. But I understood that many other people found it hilarious and found him hilarious, right? So I'm like, that's cool. Keep him around. People like him. I don't have to like him. And when I say I didn't like him, it didn't mean that I hated him or I wanted him out. I was just like, whatever, But I just never really found him entertaining. But that's all right. I'm in the minority because so many people really found him entertaining and loved him. And the backlash that we're getting now is a lot of people in the locker room. I mean, this guy was beloved. I didn't know all that, but everybody loved him. You're finding a hard time trying to find someone to say something bad or negative or remain quiet about this. Seems like everyone's going up to bat for him. And he's, what, 53, 54 years old? He's about to be in his mid-50s. He can still move around pretty good, but again, this is a message. This is a new WWE. All right, this is a new WWE, man. There's a TKO era. And they're still trying to figure things out. With PLD dates and moving things around, and they're fumbling things all over the place. But one thing that looks to be pretty certain is that, you know what? If we gotta make some room, we're making room. Now, I've heard people say like, oh man, you know what? Like, he's an OG, and he is. Our truth is, yes, definitely. Man, you know what? They could do this to him for as long as he's been with the company, you know. They could do it to like Randy Orton or John Cena. No, they cannot. They cannot do it to those guys. They cannot do it to the Legend Killer. Why? Because he's the Legend Killer. Because our truth was never at the level of Randy Orton. Our truth was never at the level of John Cena. So let's chillax. He had some moments. I mean, heck, he was tag team champion not too long ago with the Miz. But let's chillax. All right, let's bring it back down to reality. Yes, while he may have been with the company for a long time, he was always a mid-card to lower than that. So I'm glad. And by the way, let me go and say this, man. Okay? I'm glad R-Truth had his John Cena moment at Saturday night's main event. Where are all you fools now that were complaining about that match? Because the same fools that are over there complaining about that match, oh, it's a dumb match, it's a stupid match, why have this match, are now the same ones over there complaining about like, oh man, how can you let him go? How can you let him go? I get it. Those are two major different things that we're talking about. I understand that. But at least for me, and coming from a person that said, and I would stand to it, I didn't really care for R-Truth. I didn't really care for his character. It never really made me laugh. I always kind of found it like silly, right? But that coming from me, I was the one saying, you know what? I'm happy for R-Truth. I'm happy for a guy who has been here for so long, paid his dues. He's a straight up OG in the business. I'm glad at 50 something years old, I'm glad he's getting one last major, shot in the spotlight against John Cena at Saturday night's main event. I knew that was going to be it. It wasn't going to go any further than that. That was going to be the last huge highlight of his career. Now he got squashed a week later by that new, whatever guy. I don't even know his name. Solo Sikoa's new crony. But I was happy for him. And I don't even really like him. I'm not even a fan of his. But I was happy for him. But a lot of you guys were over there complaining how dumb and stupid and idiotic it is that he would get a title shot. Maybe they planned it out. Maybe they're like, hey, let's give him one last, hoorah, one last big moment. And actually, at that one right there, I will tell you guys, I actually was entertained. Him coming out, dressing like John Cena and everything, I was actually entertained for that. Damn. Now I'm starting to be hurt in here. That he's gone. Man, I hope everybody's getting the message. It's a new WWE. And like I said, they're fumbling around you know, trying to throw things around, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, some experimenting going on, and we'll get to some of that stuff. But as for now, I'm not. Look, does it suck that somebody gets released? I mean, yeah, man, it does. You know, I don't wish that upon anybody. All that being said, look, I can say, yeah, I do understand it. I mean, what else were these guys doing? It would have been cool to probably keep R-Truth somewhere in the business, but you can only have so many people working backstage. There's not enough room for everybody. So he's a pretty, you know, he's a pretty good talker. Who knows, man? Maybe he starts a podcast. I tune into that. It's like all these wrestlers try to start podcasts, and some of them I don't really care for. I think he'd be one that, if it's not just him, if he gets like 2 other guys with them, they can have a pretty damn good podcast. But nonetheless, man, what's your guys' thoughts? It seems like the masses are completely heartbroken. I don't really hear much heartbreak for Carlito, but I hear a lot of heartbreak for R-Truth. And like I said, I get it. He came off like a likable guy. I just never really liked his character much. It was just more silliness to me than anything else. But so many people loved him. But hey, man, I wish them both the best. And who knows? Maybe they bring both of them back for a one-off at a Royal Rumble or something. Maybe they bring R-Truth back for a one-off and John Cena's last match or at the end of the year or something. But hey, man, you guys let me know. There you guys go, man. Carlito and R-Truth, they're out of here. We are moving into a new era, man. Total Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout out to all the junkies. Catch you guys on next one.